And we're working on a thing now to try to get some clarity and educate ourselves as to really what's going on with this gentrification, because it's not communities anymore, it's neighborhoods, and they have names. And I just did a thing with one of the stations talking about the charter schools, and all these things are prepping for this new neighborhood type of system that's in place. But what is actually happening is it's sending poor people onto a reservation. It's almost like the Indians, as far as I'm concerned, because there's no new development for poor people. We did have to move there at Casey, but fought it off with the support of the NAACP, that they came back with a thing called RAD. And with that RAD, no one has to move, but we moved from Casey to Casey. But that's not the case in a lot of cities with where HUD is giving the property to Housing Authority. Folks is having to move and don't have anywhere to go.
And so, Pastor, what we're saying here is that some of the policies that have been followed dealing with housing has led to the removal of a large number of individuals who might have been in public housing, but now they're no longer in public housing, and so they're in a real sense almost on the street. Talk about it from that perspective.
There's a new homelessness out there that exists now as a result of Nashville's growth. You know, I mean, I appreciate the positive side of the growth of Nashville and everything with all the development. You know, if we can think back, you know, 7, 8 years ago, during the past presidential administration under Bush, you drive around Nashville and you see foreclosure here, foreclosure there. I mean, the housing market just down, you know, and people losing properties and stuff like that. Now, with all this growth that's taking place under this current administration, and Nashville is truly booming and growing, all the construction and everything, but this housing market that's here now is pushing a lot of people out of housing, because a lot of them are not unable to afford housing. You know, even with the Section 8 situations and stuff like that, you got people that had properties that had their property certified for Section 8 occupancies. Now that all this growth is taking place, some of these homeowners are taking money, as Mr. Zirker had alluded to earlier in our conversation before, and taking monies and renovated their properties, what I'm trying to say. And as a result of that, they're getting market value for the properties, and so the people that would have normally rented those properties under Section 8, they're unable to find it. And I work with the homeless, and I've experienced people with certificates, Section 8 certificates, but cannot find housing
for the price of those certificates that they have.
Yes, absolutely, because so many, you know, the housing market is just so high right now, you know.
Is it good to say, I mean, can we say that most poor individuals in town have been priced out of housing, and therefore they're almost homeless?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
they're been priced out of housing, they're almost homeless, and some of them are homeless. You know, you get calls, man, from where I work at, you know, a woman and her children and stuff looking for somewhere to go. She's got a job, but she can no longer afford to stay in the place that she is in, because the landlords are seeing the rise in the market value for rentals, and they're raising these rents up to the level where people cannot pay them. And then you've got people that's coming in from bigger cities and stuff like that, that's used to paying high dollar rents, and then the rents they paying here, they're actually saving money. Whereas we're looking at it, man, this is an escalation in the cost of rentals in Nashville, but these people are coming here renting because they're actually saving money, whereas we're seeing it, that the prices, and it's pricing other people out.
Okay, and we're going to have, we got 30 seconds in this particular segment. But when we come back, Mr. Zirker, what we want to do is look at some of the proposed solutions to some of the issues that we have, and we'll have 10 minutes to deal with that. But we're going to start with you, and anything that you have or your knowledge in terms of how we might be able to deal with that, this is when we want that information to come out. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Section 8, which is a set amount of money that the government can pay.
Yeah.
If they give you $200 or $300 for an apartment, and you ordinarily could have taken care of that,
Right.
but now that they go back for $5. Well, what about raising the amount of money?
Yeah.
Is there a possibility?
No, it's even worse than that.
Okay,
They're not renting to a Section 8.
Well, you hold it, hold it, because that's what we want. This is the time that we want that out. We're gonna have 10 minutes, and when we come back, you got 5 minutes to lay out as loudly and as fast as you possibly can.
I'm gonna give you some solution stuff too.
That's what I'm talking about.
Sir.
Just speak up.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
5 minutes, and then you grab the next 5 minutes, and you speak up, and we're gonna try to do this.
I want to talk about the significance, because you said something about fighting against moving out, so they're moving from Casey to Casey.
Yes, sir.
And that's not been the case.
Nowhere.
The other places around.
This is the only place.
Really significant.
It is.
Okay. Well, anything y'all have to say about that?
That was one.
We got 10 minutes.
That was one through fighting off what they had, the revitalization. Everybody had to move. They were going to tear down the whole thing. And where were we going?
Yeah, I know. I see. That's what. Thank you and welcome back to the final segment of the show today. We're talking about the growth of Nashville and how the housing population in Nashville. And Mr. Zirker, let's see if we can talk in terms of some of the solutions, in terms of some of the issues that we've already talked about. How do you see it from your perspective?
Good. Well, this is a booming town. This is an it city. The revision of this city with all the major developments is here. They have a 25-year plan. The East Bank in itself, they're talking about 12,000 units. This is a whole lot of major development. There's no, if you look at the builders, the contractors, the construction workers, you don't see certain folk out there that are carpenters, plumbers, roofers, bricklayers, all the things that it take to build a house. You go around this town and you'll see that there's discriminatory faces. When I was coming up, they had high schools where it was, you came to school, man,